Have you ever asked yourself, why do I keep staying in a place that deep down I know I need to leave? A relationship that keeps hurting you, a job that's draining you, an environment where you slowly lose yourself. You know it's no longer meant for you, so why haven't you walked away? You're not staying out of love. You're staying because something invisible, but incredibly powerful within you refuses to let go. And you don't know what that is. You think you're making a choice, but in truth, you're living out an old script your unconscious wrote a long time ago. Leaving, then, is not just a physical act. It's an inner rite of passage, a turning point in the process of individuation, the journey of becoming who you truly are, no longer controlled by old wounds. You don't need more reasons to leave. You need to understand what's binding you. And once you truly see it in the light of awareness, there will be no going back. In today's video, I will explain the inner bindings holding you back and guide you to the door of deep psychological freedom. Stay until the end, because I'll reveal powerful ways to walk away, without resentment, without guilt. Number 1. Why can't we leave? The human mind has a dangerous instinct. It would rather cling to familiar pain than step into the unknown. That's not weakness, it's biology. Your brain is wired to keep you in the safety zone, even when that zone is slowly killing you. Carl Jung saw this with remarkable clarity. He didn't believe humans were rational beings. He understood us as creatures ruled by layers of unconscious material we've never seen. That's why, when you stand at the edge of walking away from a relationship, a situation, or a way of life, your entire nervous system reacts as if your life is in danger. When in reality, the only thing you're doing is trying to save yourself. You feel fear. You feel uncertainty. You tell yourself, now's not the right time, or maybe they'll change, or I'm not ready yet. But none of those are real. They're the mind's survival instincts speaking, keeping you tethered to the known. Because to the brain, what's known is safe, and what's unknown is threatening, even if it holds a better future. Jung said it plainly. People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their soul. You'll endure, explain, justify, sacrifice anything to avoid staring into the void inside you that you think will consume you if you let go. But it is a delusion, because the truth is, you're not afraid of losing someone else. You're afraid of losing the identity you built around them. And when you feel that, when you touch the fear that if you let go, you won't know who you are anymore, that's not a reason to stay. That's the unconscious calling you to finally leave. If you don't understand this, you'll believe you're weak. But you're not. You're being manipulated by an ancient instinct designed to protect you. But in this modern world, it can end up destroying you. Jung called it the collective unconscious, the inherited psychological field of humanity, where the fear of loss outweighs the longing for freedom. And the truth gets even deeper. You're not just afraid of the unknown, you're held hostage by old beliefs programmed into you since childhood, beliefs you never questioned. You learned about love through watching pain. You were taught that love is endurance, sacrifice, and suffering. You saw your parents stay even when it hurt. You saw adults tolerate instead of walking away. You heard things like, family is forever, and everyone has flaws, you just have to accept them. These weren't just words, they were unconscious codes embedded in your mind, shaping every decision to stay or to leave for the rest of your life. Jung called this the inheritance of the soul, archetypes and psychological scripts passed down without our awareness. If you grew up in a world where love always came with pain, Then you bonded with suffering, as if it were part of love. You didn't see anything wrong with it, because to you it felt normal. So when a relationship hurts, you don't leave. You stay because your mind whispers, "This is what love looks like." And it gets worse. You might feel guilty for even wanting to walk away, because you were told that good people stay, strong people forgive, that real love means never giving up. And you believed it, so much that you ended up hurting yourself just to prove your love was real. Jung once said, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. The hardest part isn't leaving someone else. It's admitting that you stayed too long because of beliefs that were never yours to begin with. Beliefs inherited from your parents, your society, the child in you who just wanted to be loved. And until you realize that your life isn't being lived from free will, but from an unconscious script, you won't be able to leave. Even when you start unlearning those inherited ideas, there's still one more powerful force that keeps you stuck: the illusion of potential. You're not in love with reality. You're in love with what could have been. Maybe you're trapped in a future that never existed, a better version of that person, a kinder relationship, a more perfect love, if only things changed a little. But as Jung warned, everyone is in love with his ideas. You're not seeing the person as they are. You're seeing them through the lens of your unmet desires. This is how the mind resists truth. It doesn't let go, it reshapes reality. You remember the good times. You dismiss the dozens of wounds. You tell yourself and others a softened story, a polished narrative that shields you from the most painful truth. This was a dream that didn't come true. Not because you didn't try, but because it was never meant for you. The illusion of potential is the most dangerous trap. It keeps you hanging on, not because you don't understand the past, but because you still believe the future might finally happen. You don't want to lose what could be, even when what is has already broken you. And as Jung said, the greatest burden a child must bear is the unlived life of the parents. Sometimes you're not just trapped in your illusion, you're trying to fulfill an old dream. One inherited from your parents, from society, from someone who once taught you that love means fixing people, completing stories, and making everything perfect. But you cannot love a soul that only exists as a half-finished sketch in your head. Potential is not reality. No one deserves to live their life in endless sacrifice just to prove something that was never real. Jung called this projection, the act of casting onto others the parts of your soul you've never fully lived, then demanding they bring them to life. You don't love them. You love a version that never existed. And the more you cling to that version, the more you disconnect from reality, the more you avoid the truth. This has no future, only a past, endlessly replayed in the costume of hope. Understanding all this is the first step toward cutting the invisible psychological cords that bind you. Not with bitterness, but with sharp awareness. You don't have to sacrifice your present for something that was never real. Number 2, the resistance of the mind. You might think that once you've seen the truth, liberation will follow, that you'll walk away without regret. But it's never that clean. There's always something inside you that won't let you leave so decisively. It's no longer an illusion. It's resistance, the resistance of your psyche, a subtle, powerful mechanism of self-sabotage. Carl Jung once said, "There is no coming to consciousness without pain. No one becomes awakened without confronting their internal resistance. Because the moment you begin to let go, Your subconscious hits the alarm. It pulls you back into the past. It floods you with good memories. It stirs your fear of being alone. It makes you question your decision. And most of all, it whispers that you might be making a mistake. Take a simple, real example. Someone finally gathers the courage to end a relationship after months of pain. They delete the number, walk away, and try to move on. But then comes a single message: "Are you okay?" And everything crumbles. The mind instantly recalls all the beautiful moments. And they go back, even though deep down, they know exactly what's waiting. Have you ever been in that moment too? One message, one memory, one flicker of hope, and all your effort to let go dissolves. If you've ever been there, share your story or emotion in the comments, not just to vent, but to remind others they're not alone in this battle with themselves. Jung described this as the conflict between the ego, the conscious self, and the shadow, the repressed unconscious. The ego wants to walk away, but the shadow refuses. It carries fear of abandonment, feelings of unworthiness, unhealed wounds, and the guilt of putting yourself first. And you don't realize that these emotions are steering your life while you believe you're making conscious decisions. The painful truth is this: your mind will do everything it can to make you doubt yourself. It'll tell you you're overreacting, that you didn't try hard enough, that maybe forgiveness is the answer. And the more these thoughts repeat, the more you carve a psychological rut where leaving becomes unnatural and staying becomes the default. This self-sabotage mechanism isn't limited to love. It shows up everywhere. In work, for example. You may know full well your job is draining your soul, yet when a new opportunity arises, your mind starts whispering, "What if that's not better? At least this place is stable. Change scares me." So you stay, not because the job deserves you, but because you're listening to fear dressed up as logic. Jung warned that the psyche always seeks to return to its familiar state of balance, even if that balance is harmful. So when you return to an old partner, accept an old job, or keep a toxic habit, it's not because you don't know better. It's because your mind fears short-term chaos more than it desires long-term freedom. Jung called this the compulsion to repeat, the unconscious drive to recreate old wounds to feel in control of them. That's why you find yourself in familiar patterns, loving the same kind of wrong person, making the same mistakes, ending up in the same story with a new name. It's not bad luck. It's your unawakened psyche pulling you back into the same pit. You need to understand one thing clearly. The mind will always try to pull you back unless you shut the door completely. If you leave it cracked, one phone call, one saved photo, one post you still check, your unconscious will use it as permission to return. And next time, it'll be harder to walk away, because every time you go back, you teach yourself that leaving is dangerous and returning is safe. Carl Jung said, "What you resist persists. What you don't face will keep controlling you. If you don't understand why the pain keeps repeating, you'll keep calling it fate, destiny, when it's only an outdated mental program running on autopilot." And among all the tactics your mind uses to keep you stuck, guilt is the most powerful trap of all. It's not loud like fear, not sharp like longing, but it's strong enough to lock you inside your psychological prison, where you hold the key and still beg someone else to set you free. You feel like a bad person for walking away. You think you're heartless for letting go, for leaving someone behind. You tell yourself, "There's still so much I haven't explained. What if they don't recover? Did I try hard enough?" So you delay, not because the decision is wrong, but because you're afraid of being the one at fault. Jung once said that guilt, in its essence, is a moral compass. But when taken over by the unconscious, it becomes a chain. It makes you feel responsible to stay, to heal, to carry it all, even when it's costing you. And the truth is, what you think is selfish toward others is the deepest form of selfishness toward yourself. You stay in a place where you no longer belong just to avoid judgment. In doing so, you betray your truth, and you prolong someone else's illusion. Walking away when you know it's time isn't abandonment. It's integrity with your inner truth. Guilt and resistance, one ties you to the past, the other tempts you with the future. But both are tactics of the mind to keep you from facing what's most painful, the present. If you truly want freedom, you must name them for what they are. Guilt is not morality. Hope is not love. They're just veils the mind uses to pull you away from what's real. And it's time to tear down that veil, to see clearly that staying is not strength. It's the hesitation of a mind terrified of emptiness. Number 3, the danger of going without letting go. By now, you might be wondering why, even after your psychological defenses have come down, your mind still can't let go. You need to understand this. Emotions are not something reason can simply switch off. Emotions are the primal language of the soul, alive, stubborn, and often indifferent to logic. When we love, attach to, or trust someone, we don't just share time. We give away a piece of our being. Physical separation is never enough, because emotions are woven into memory. We don't just walk away from a person. We must also release the moments when we were seen, soothed, and allowed to be our full selves without pretense. Every embrace, every glance, every word that made the heart stir, all of it becomes a tapestry of memory that, if unraveled, feels like pulling apart our very identity. The struggle lies like emotion itself. It doesn't operate in linear time. It doesn't follow a clear beginning and end like a scheduled event. It is born through repetition, connection, and accumulated experience. And the more something repeats, the deeper it's etched into the nervous system, and the harder it is to erase. A relationship can end in a single day, but the emotional aftershock can last for years. The heart doesn't shut down just because reason says it should. It keeps nurturing hope, then denying reality, then longing all over again. Leaving, therefore, isn't a one-time action. It's a drawn-out tug-of-war between past and present, between what must be forgotten and what hasn't yet been released. It stirs old wounds that haven't healed, rejection, loneliness, and the feeling of not being enough. Letting go of someone unintentionally becomes a confrontation with the darkness within ourselves, something few are willing to face. Do you think of them at night, or secretly check their social media? Maybe you tell others you've moved on, but deep down, you know, you haven't truly left. Carl Jung called this the psychological shadow, the unprocessed parts of the unconscious that continue to haunt and control you, long after you believe it's over. Picture someone just out of a painful relationship. They move house, change their number, and cut contact. Yet every time they pass that familiar cafe, they glance around searching for a familiar silhouette. Every time it rains, they remember someone once held the umbrella. Each night they wonder, if they called now, would I answer? Their body has left, but their mind remains stuck in the same place, chained to memories that haven't been released. You might think, time heals all wounds. It doesn't. Time doesn't heal if you're still clinging to the invisible thread. Time only does one thing. It makes you numb to the pain. The wound stays quiet, embedded, silently preventing you from loving again, trusting again, living fully again. Some people lose years, whole decades, believing they've forgotten, only to collapse at the sound of an old song or the scent of a familiar perfume. Not because time wasn't long enough, but because they never truly left. They physically walked away, but spiritually remained at the threshold, caught in the limbo between leaving and looking back. The greatest danger of leaving without letting go is that you think you're healing, when in truth, you're postponing your liberation. And when something new arrives, a new person, a new opportunity, you can't fully embrace it because part of you is still waiting for someone from the past to return. That's the most subtle kind of captivity. On the outside, you appear free. On the inside, you are still bound. When you haven't truly let go, everything new that enters your life, a relationship, a chance, a fresh start, is filtered through a lens tinted by the past. You enter a new relationship, but you hesitate, compare, and subconsciously test the new person against the pain the last one caused. You start a new job, but you're still haunted by old failures. You say you're okay. You tell people about a new plan, but half your heart is still waiting for a message that will never come. If you see yourself in these lines, don't be ashamed. Don't judge yourself. Jung once said, "We cannot change anything until we accept it. You can't move forward if you keep pretending you're fine." Be honest with yourself. Answer this one question and write it down if you must. Have you truly freed yourself? Your honest answer might be the light someone else needs to confront their truth. And once you have truly stepped away, no more looking back, no more entanglement with the past, a deeper challenge emerges. How do you let go without carrying guilt or resentment? Because if you walk away while still harboring unresolved anger or unhealed guilt, you're still tethered, just in a different form. Number 4, how to let go without guilt or resentment. Carl Jung once said, "What you deny submits you. What you accept transforms you. What we refuse to face will continue to rule us. Only when you dare to confront your real emotions, without judgment, without denial, can you begin to free them." And on the journey of letting go, nothing weighs heavier than two things, guilt and resentment. One makes you turn back to make things right. The other draws you back to get justice. But both keep you tied to what has already ended. Here are a few simple but powerful practices that can help you transform these emotions. If you feel ready, comment below, "I'm ready to change," and we'll begin this journey together. Exercise 1. Write a letter to yourself. First, to become your whole self, you must stop trying to be the good person defined by someone else's standards. Carl Jung said, "I am not what happens to me. I choose who I become." Choosing to walk away is not a moral failure. It is an act of integrity with your inner truth. No one is born to sacrifice themselves just to maintain another person's illusion. So here's a practice to begin healing guilt. Write a letter to yourself from the version of you that you once abandoned. Write down what you feel guilty for, what you wish had been different. Write to the version of you who stayed silent to keep others happy, who endured things out of fear of judgment. Say, "I'm sorry I didn't protect you sooner, but now I choose you. I no longer feel guilty for choosing myself." Exercise 2. Practice intentional solitude. Being alone isn't passive loneliness, where you curl up with your phone, waiting for someone to distract you. This is purposeful stillness. It's the conscious act of muting the outside noise so you can hear the inner voice. Start by journaling your feelings daily. Each morning or before bed, write everything you feel: confusion, pain, anger, longing. Don't try to sound poetic or wise, just be honest. Writing helps you untangle the unconscious. It brings awareness into the emotional shadows. Next, practice sitting with your loneliness instead of avoiding it. Don't rush to fill the silence with movies, social media, food, or random texts. Just sit. Truly sit. Feel the emptiness expand from your chest, your belly, the invisible space around you. Don't try to numb it. Ask it, where did you come from? What do you need? In that silence, you'll begin to hear what you've been suppressing. Your inner voice, old memories, outdated beliefs, and wounds that haven't closed. These aren't enemies, they're maps guiding you back to yourself. Exercise 3. Focus on nurturing your inner life. Care for your body, knowing it is your sacred temple which stores every emotional wound. A healthy diet, good sleep, and daily movement won't just make you stronger, they reduce the unconscious stress that causes emotional volatility. When your body is clear, your emotions become clearer too. Engage your creativity, write, draw, make music, cook, and design. Anything that makes you feel like you're creating, living, and connecting to the world from your power. Creative expression is one of the most healing tools for a fractured self, because it reawakens your inner value, something only you can bring into the world. And perhaps most importantly, reconnect with yourself. Schedule time each day to do things that make you feel alive. Walk under the evening sun. Read a chapter of a book that helps you understand yourself better, and make tea and sip it slowly. These aren't trivial. They are bold declarations. I choose to stay with myself. I don't need to run anymore. Final exercise. Stop seeking external validation. To truly let go of resentment, you must cut the cord at every level. Physically, cut contact, remove reminders. Emotionally, allow yourself to feel the pain, but don't get stuck in it. Spiritually, when your mind replays the story, don't feed it. Don't reread old conversations. Don't analyze what's already beyond resolution. Don't play with fire. Don't test your control. Don't assume you can stay in touch and not get pulled back into the spiral. If you've left, be firm. Because if you don't shut the door completely, you'll always be one step away from walking back through it, and next time, the fall will hurt more. Energetically, every time they cross your mind, silently repeat, I release you. I free myself. When you carry this out at every level, the final string will snap. And in that moment, you'll feel peace. You'll feel, for the first time in a long time, that you've truly left. You can also try a small but powerful ritual. Write down everything you're still angry about, then burn it. Not to erase the memories, but to transform them. You can't change the past, but you can change the place it holds in your life. From an unhealed wound to a lesson you've already lived through. And you must learn to forgive yourself, because you deserve peace. Each morning, stand before the mirror, look at yourself without judgment and say, I forgive myself. I deserve to begin again. Repeat it 7 to 10 times. It may feel awkward at first, but every repetition cuts one more link in the invisible chain. Before bed, try meditating. It's a way to separate your mind from your pain, to reclaim your connection to yourself. If you've never meditated before, there are countless guides online, or you can simply sit in silence for 5 minutes each night. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, feel your body, and silently repeat, I forgive myself. Jung emphasized, freedom stretches only as far as the consciousness reaches. Freedom only exists where awareness is present. If you don't recognize the subtle manipulation of guilt and resentment, they'll keep pulling you back, repeating patterns, keeping you trapped in the unconscious. But once you truly see them, without judgment, without running, you begin to reclaim your power. And one last thing you must remember: letting go is not a one-time act. It's a process. You may feel light and free in the morning and then collapse in tears by afternoon. That's okay. What matters is that you come back to your path, not to be strong out of stubborn pride, but to honor your promise to yourself. I deserve peace. Number 5, the meaning of letting go. When you truly free yourself, your life changes completely. You've arrived at the turning point. Reaching this place means you are someone with a strong, resilient mind. Pay close attention, because right here, something deep within you is about to shift. Letting go is not a loss. It is not failure. It is not surrender. It is an act of strength, an act that few master, because it requires courage, awareness, and above all, profound inner transformation. When you learn how to let go the right way, without guilt, without resentment, without justification, you realize you're not just leaving a person or a situation. You are moving closer to a new version of yourself. Carl Jung said that freedom is not achieved by avoiding suffering, but by learning how to live through it. And that is exactly what happens when you stop seeing letting go as losing and start recognizing it as liberation. When you release what no longer belongs to you, you begin to reclaim everything you lost of yourself. You regain control of your life. Without letting go, you live in dependence, emotional dependence, psychological dependence, and dependence on external validation. You feel like you need that person, that without that relationship, you are nothing, that if you let go, you'll be empty. But then, you begin to make decisions without fear. You begin to move forward without dragging the past. You begin to act from your true power, not from a need to be accepted by anyone. And that's what truly changes everything. Your energy regenerates. Your mind becomes clear. When you cling to a relationship or situation that has lost its meaning, your energy stagnates. You feel tired all the time. Your mind is foggy. You're anxious for no clear reason. That's because your energy is being drained by attachment. But when you finally let go, something shifts. Suddenly, you have more energy. You sleep better. Your body feels lighter. Your mind begins to see new possibilities. What once seemed impossible becomes clear. This isn't magic, it's science. Your brain stops operating in a state of constant stress. Your nervous system exits its fight or flight mode. Your body and mind can finally focus on you instead of being consumed by the obsession over what was lost. Your self-worth rises to a whole new level. Every time you stay where you shouldn't, every time you settle for less than you deserve, every time you justify the unjustifiable, your self-esteem is quietly eroded. Because deep down, you know you're betraying yourself. But when you choose to let go, when you decide not to accept less, something within you shifts. You prove to yourself that you are enough, that you don't need to beg for love, that your worth isn't dependent on anyone else's presence, that you deserve better and are willing to fight for it. In doing so, your self-respect grows. You become emotionally untouchable, not because you no longer feel, but because you now know you can survive any loss. You understand you don't need to cling to anyone to be okay. You trust that no matter what happens, you have yourself. When you reach that place, life changes. Relationships no longer control you. Situations no longer shake you. Losses no longer drown you, because you've learned to let go with dignity and without fear. Now you understand the power behind letting go the right way. But there is still one final thing you need to hear. A message that will seal everything you've learned and close this chapter for good. If you've made it this far, it's because something within you already knows you needed this message. This journey didn't begin by accident. You're here because deep inside, you know it's time to do something different. To release what has weighed you down. To stop giving chances to what has no future. To choose yourself over anything or anyone that costs you your peace. Carl Jung said, "Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes." And today, after everything we've explored, you now have a choice. You can keep waiting for something outside of you to change, or you can wake up and make the decision you've delayed out of fear. Because in the end, no one is coming to save you. The only one who can walk you out of that place is you. Not just letting go of someone, but reclaiming your power. Refusing to stay where you're not valued. Stopping the excuses for what cannot be excused. Releasing what no longer serves you. Closing this chapter with absolute clarity that you will not look back. You deserve a life where you don't have to beg for love, for respect, for attention. You deserve peace, freedom, and a deep sense of being right with yourself. But to have that, you must make a real decision. No excuses, no delays, no waiting. So tell me, are you ready to let go completely? If you truly are, I want you to leave a sign in the comments. An ending is not a free fall into nothingness. It is the beginning of a deeper reality. A place where you no longer define yourself through someone else, resist your emotions, or cling to what has already grown hollow. By now, you've seen it clearly. What held you back was not love, but fear, not hope, but unresolved memory. And now, what you need is no longer an answer, but a commitment to yourself. A commitment that you will no longer live in between, in fragments. A commitment that you will not allow the past to resurrect itself in new forms. A commitment that even if your voice shakes, you will still walk forward. Because every step you take away from the old is a step back toward yourself. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." And that privilege begins the moment you let go, not out of anger, not out of despair, but because you've grown wise enough to know what no longer fits should be carried. So if you're standing at the threshold of an ending, ask yourself, what am I still delaying? And what is the cost of that delay? Thank you for walking this entire journey with me. If what I shared resonated with you, if it sparked something inside you that longs to grow and become better, please subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications today. Because who knows, the next video may arrive just when you need it most.